All right, first of all, if the new hires that have just started, new operators, would y'all come up front? Because this will definitely apply for y'all. Like Estrella, Alicia, there's some chairs up here. Please try to refrain from using your phones, kind of pay attention, ask questions. Make sure
I thought I was already up front. So
you're up front. Yeah, you're good. Okay.
And we have to send it there. Who else? Okay.
All right. Everybody here and accounted for. If you need to go to the bathroom, just slip out the back. Please try to pay attention. This is a big deal. One thing I've kind of learned as part of my role is I'm the main middleman as far as delivering the right information to the leadership team from the floor. So getting the right information is important to me, and the downtime management is what this little presentation is going to be about. So we're going to go over escalation process, connection point 0, what many of y'all know is peer-to-peer, and coding downtime and Traxxas expectations. All right, like I said, agenda, escalation process we'll go over first, give you an idea how that works, what we should expect from y'all, how long it should take y'all to escalate something to certain levels. If you're not seeing something happen, then you should know that you should start looking for me or Gary to let it happen. Connection point 0, we'll go over the peer-to-peer, how you should fill that out, make it easier for me or Gary to read. It's kind of setting a standard for how we should expect to see that time coding. Understanding Traxxas for some of the new guys. Just a kind of brief overview of the main KPI screen on Traxxas, what things mean, what numbers we need to pay attention to. Abnormalities, how to enter abnormalities. That's one thing we're lacking on as a team. We got to get better. For some of the supply people, some of this Traxxas stuff y'all may not have seen before, but going forward, if you're interested in operations, I would recommend paying attention. And then lastly, we'll have questions if anybody has questions. All right, we'll start with a good quote about teamwork. Effective teamwork begins and ends with communication. From Byron's favorite coach, Coach K, Duke University. And I firmly believe this. Communication is the key to our success. With COVID last year, we're not doing peer-to-peers as much. We've kind of lost some of that. We've started seeing some gaps with communication between shifts, and it's really playing an effect and a drop in our numbers. That there's a few other things as well, but I believe that has a big role. This is the stick packaging equipment escalation protocol. This was rolled out a little while ago. It's kind of hard to read from here. You see the 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes. So I kind of broke it down by slide that will explain it easier for y'all. So start having problems on your wrapper, downstream, whatever equipment that you're running. The first step, this is the first 10 minutes of your downtime. You try to troubleshoot. That's always the first. What you've been trained to do, troubleshooting through the training. We're going to roll out some more advanced trainings as far as troubleshooting breakdowns. One of the most major stops on wrapping equipment. Simple short stops, first, second drum jams. For the new people, they'll get recomped off on that. Some of the old operators that missed it, we'll make sure y'all are on the same page. So you're going to troubleshoot for the first 10 minutes. After that, you're not getting anywhere. You're still having jams. So you will contact maintenance. A lot of y'all just sign up. Not a lot of y'all, but some people sign up and just walk away from the board. Never talk to a maintenance person. We will ask y'all to please inform maintenance when you sign up. Make sure they know. That's the first step of communication, to make sure they know. So signing up is just a way for them to see the list of who signed up where. And I'm starting to try to put a priority list on the board to kind of help them identify where we need to focus our maintenance efforts. So that's the first 10 minutes, contacting the maintenance. So the next 20 minutes, which would be bring you to 30 minutes total downtime. Maintenance, we know is short staffed right now. So we will have some time waiting on maintenance based on how many calls we got, but they will respond in a timely manner if available. Their job is to troubleshoot and repair the issue in this next 20 minutes. That's the maintenance spot. Operator, your job is to troubleshoot and assist with maintenance repairs. So if a maintenance man is there working on your machine, the best thing you can do is be in communication with them while they're there. They're making adjustments. We should all be trying to learn from them. They're that level for a reason. They know what does what can help what to look for. So that's going to help y'all become better operators. So you want to try to troubleshoot with them, work with them. That's another part of communication, working with somebody. If the problem still persists after this 30 minutes, then we will contact myself or Gary. So you want to look for me if it's going over 30 minutes. There's a phone at the end of G multi-pack. There's a phone and flow pack. My number's in there, Gary's is in there. Give us a call or grab us if we're out on the floor if it's going over 30 minutes. If you can't find somebody, let a downstream know. Angie's real good about texting me and calling me. I've got to get better about answering my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have it on silent a lot of times, but that's what you can do as an operator. If you see it going over that 30-minute mark, you need to let one of us know. Production lead, or myself, that's when we get involved. We'll assess the situation, we'll determine priority, we'll identify additional resources, and that way we can allocate those resources. If we need something else, we can put it toward the problem. All right, so now you're going over 30 minutes. This is step 3. You're getting about the hour mark at downtime. You've been down for an hour now. This is where the senior maintenance tech gets involved. Y'all know who that is?
Wayne.
Exactly. Wayne Campbell. Controls tech and production lead. So what they will do at this time, they'll collaborate on assigning additional resources to the area. I feel like sometimes this escalation tree's kind of got a little bit out of whack, and people aren't getting the right information at the right times, and the problem's not getting addressed soon enough. So our resources aren't being used wisely. Step 4. So this is the next 60 minutes. This is going to push it into 2 hours of total downtime. This shows up as a big red flag when we're looking at downtime in the system. So the maintenance tech, once Wayne is involved, he's going to contact the maintenance lead. Y'all know who that is? Dennis George. Good job. Dennis George is the maintenance lead. So him and Wayne will collaborate on the problem at this time, and they should be coming up with if it's down 2 hours, it's probably a big something actually breakdown. Should be. Production lead, Gary, will contact the value stream manager. Who's the value stream manager for our area? Crystal Wiltz. And they will conduct an in-depth analysis of the event. And the maintenance lead will contact controls engineer, evaluate deployment of resources and adjust as necessary. So at the 2 hour mark, you've seen all these higher up people that should be involved in the problem at this point. Now you may not see that now, but this is the way we need to go going forward. All this communication, this chain of events needs to happen, or problems aren't going to get solved in a timely manner. Step 5. So we're going at 4 hours now. This is the next 2 hours. You've gone from 2 hours of downtime to 4. So this is where the value stream, Crystal's really involved at this point, finding out any information. She wants to know the severity. Is it going to be down a whole day? How many hours are we going to be down? So we can adjust scheduling based on this and get the right resources there. Step 6, it's the next 4 hours. If you're down for a whole day, full 8 hours, the value stream manager, that's when the leadership team gets involved. So if you go above Crystal, next you have Julie. And then she'll report in the CP3 meetings, any information, machine status, assess new resources, creates action plans. So anybody, that's pretty much the escalation process of how it should flow, how the information should flow from the start, the 10 minutes of downtime, to the whole day. The amount of people that get involved with that, at what times they get involved. So if you kind of see this not happening in your area, you feel like nobody's addressing the need, or you got problems and resources aren't being put toward that problem, let us know, and we're going to try to streamline this process and get better at it, because right now it's a little shaky, but we're going to try to get better. Any questions on that? Y'all good? Okay. Next up, CP0. What does CP0 stand for? Anybody?
Connection point zero.
Connection point zero. What is another name for peer-to-peer? That's what we know is a peer-to-peer sheet. They've always known it as a peer-to-peer sheet. We got to start calling it CP0. That's the verbiage they're going to use going forward. Connection point zero. This is our first connection of the day. What is the importance of CP0? Johnny, why do we do peer-to-peer?
Communication.
Communication for the next shift.
There we go. Keyword again, communication for the next shift. Why do we do it? It's our first connection of the day. First chance to communicate key information between shifts and operators. That's the main. We got to bridge that gap from night shift to day shift, from day shift to night shift.
So Josh, it's like asking them like how the machine ran and what problems they had.
Exactly. So we've kind of, with the COVID again, it's kind of thrown everything a little bit off. We're trying to get back to a standard of times where we can get out on the floor, have that peer-to-peer meeting where you actually talk. Don't just talk about what's your plans after work, what are you doing this weekend, talking about key information. And this information should be on this sheet. While we fill out CP0, they provide a guideline to critical information that needs to be captured on a shiftly basis. So that's the key, critical information. That's why we got a sheet that kind of provides a guide to what you need to be capturing. So what I ask of y'all, when you do your downtime, we need to have a standard of way we fill this out. And a lot of people do it different ways, but some of y'all are really good at it. Some of y'all, I expect to see this standard every time. So the first thing, you got your shifts over there on the left. I don't know if y'all can see that. Left side, you go circle your shift, put your name, and if a mechanic makes a fix, they'll put their name there. You're gonna put the area of the machine. In this case, it's an LTM. John Doe found it. He's got envelope jams. And then he had some time waiting on a mechanic. We need to know that time. We do not know we have gaps with our maintenance and the actual staff shortages unless we can show it. We're waiting on time, waiting on mechanics. So you're going to put the action, mechanic adjusted up or die. You put the time down there. You actually put the mechanic wait time. So when I come look at your downtime sheet, I should be able to see the times over there on the side. It ain't got to be exactly down to the second, but I would like a pretty accurate gauge of how long you've been down. Because a lot of times I'll see that you have issues. You can't really give me a good idea of how long you've been down. I've been up and down this long, but I'll have to go look at Traxxas and kind of figure it out. So that's time that y'all should kind of have a good idea of how long you've been down. Speaking of Traxxas, first off, was there any questions on the CP0? If somebody else fixes it? You can still, her question was, say she's down, has envelope jams, she signs up, waits on maintenance, but say Kenneth, a line technician or somebody in that role, experienced operator comes and helps her, gets it going. So you're down for 20 minutes waiting. You still put down waiting on maintenance. You're still down waiting. but Kenneth would actually sign in your book that he fixed it and what he did. There's a lot of actions that we're doing on the floor that aren't getting captured. If you had to adjust your rails and it's not wrote in the book, then we don't know what happened. We need all this information going forward. Good question. All right, understanding tracks. For the new guys, this will be more important for y'all to see this. Experienced operators, this will be a good refresher. This is your home screen that you see when you go to Traxxas. You go to your line, your machine. This will be your operator KPI screen. This is the main screen y'all see when you're running a machine. And this is just going to be an explanation of what kind of information you're looking at on here. First thing, over here on the side, you got MTBS. Anybody know what that means?
Mean time between stops.
Mean time between stops, or mean time between failure is what the S stands for. So, mean time between failure, the target is set at 15 minutes. So that's pretty much how long you need to be running between your stops. It's 15 minutes between stops. I know right now it seems like hard to do, but going forward, we got processes in place to try to make things run better. Hopefully the materials get better. Glue's gotten a little better. So that's what that shows. That shows where you're at on your MTBF. Quality loss percentage. I know a lot of people don't even know what this means, so I'm going to explain it. Quality loss percentage shows the percent of product ran versus what is rejected. So if it's counting how many sticks your machine's running based off your ejector plate, how many times it ejects gum into the machine, and then you got a count of how many trays come out the back end, all the product that's lost in between there in that process, whether it be package waste, pan waste, rejects in your LTM, that's that loss percentage. The target should be like 1% or less. I talked to Heather about this. They don't really have a set target for this yet, but there may be going forward. So just heads up on what quality loss percentage is. All right, next up, module efficiency. So y'all all kind of see this. This keeps up with your hourly TRS. Do y'all know what the TRS goal is?
No.
Anybody got a clue? 62%. 62% is your TRS goal. Now the actual line on there is set around 50% right now, but 62% is what our goal is per hour. And you'll notice those little lines, if they're in the green, you're hitting your 62%. If they're in the red, you're below. If they're in the blue, you're close. Next up, top 5 unplanned losses. So down here in the corner, it shows your top 5 losses. How much time was applied to those? So that gives you a general, if I come up and look at your machine and see 200 minutes for LTM, I know immediately where to look. You should have something in your CP0 reflecting that, whether waiting on maintenance or working on LTM jams or cello, whatever. Any questions on just the general overview of that screen? Everybody understand what means what? All right, we'll move on. Abnormalities management. Why is finding abnormalities important? Anybody? Chris, why we gotta find abnormalities? What's important?
Stop downtime.
Stop downtime? I heard that.
No, because the machinery is not going to run efficient if there's abnormalities with it.
Exactly. He said the machine will not run as efficient with abnormalities present. That's correct. So when you document an abnormality, it records that there is an issue in your job's process, so impeding efficiency. These recordings will be shared That's another key. Shared communication is being used here in meetings CP0, CP1, CP2, all the way up to CP3. So we actually, when we talk in your meetings with the leaders, Crystal, Julie, abnormalities is discussed. And if it's one that's been planned, it hasn't been fixed for over a certain set of time, then that's going to get attention drawn to it. And safety, as you see right there, it says safety, any safety abnormality must be fixed before production can resume. So if it's something safety that you wrote up as an abnormality, it needs to be fixed immediately before production can resume in that area. All right, quiz time. All right, y'all know the little acronym for abnormalities, MQ slush. We're gonna start with M. What is M? What type of abnormality is M?
Minor flaw.
Minor flaw. That's one. What about Q? Quality. What kind of, actually it went out of order. Sorry. We'll go over minor flaw first. Give me an example of a minor flaw. Something loose. So, minor flaw example could be small abnormalities, scratches, dents, dings, chip, paint, rubbing, stretched cables. There's a few little pictures up there. Just little minor things, kind of self-explanatory. Somebody said quality. We'll go over it. What's U?
Unnecessary parts.
Necessary parts. Let's give it to you. Definition of unnecessary parts. So unnecessary parts is anything in your work area that's not being used, that kind of like an obstruction to your process. So any item in the area that should serve no purpose, example, old piping, electrical connections, unused wiring, stuff that's in the way that doesn't need to be there, stuff we can get rid of. Next, there's quality. So quality, anything that's got a negative impact on product quality. So who could give me an example of that? Date code. Glue dots. Exactly.
Knots in the gum.
There you go. Gum issue.
Gum.
Yeah, I feel you. So quality specific center lines are out, sharp edges that could cut package, contaminants that can get in the product, glue, stuff like that. I see a lot of glue issues. It's getting a little better, but still I don't see many abnormalities reflecting that. I don't see many glue abnormalities. Base condition. Who knows abnormality for base condition? Lack of base condition is actual. Anybody? All right, so base condition, anything that's not clean. If you remember Ada, she used to always say this: not clean, not tight, not lube. So anything that is, when we cleaned our machines in step 0 of MSE, we almost set them to where they looked brand new. They looked like they just came off the line. If something, now we understand that not everything is going to be perfectly clean all the time. Your drums aren't going to be perfectly clean because there's mannitol, other buildup while you're running. But when you're looking at parts that have contamination on, if you got grease all over coming out of a bearing, it's probably not in base condition. If you got fasteners loose, if you got a screw that's loose, that's not base condition. Something missing, a screw missing somewhere, that's not base condition. So anything, that's probably one of the most common abnormalities you will see that you should be writing up.
Josh, if you
Glue
got,
going down the rail every 10 minutes?
yeah.
Yeah, that could be.
That's the
That could be
biggest one.
quality.
Very, very big one.
That could be source of contamination. That's another abnormality.
Build up on the ejector plate too.
Build up on the ejector plate.
If you ain't got nothing else to log in as abnormality, just put build up on the ejector plate.
That kind of leads into our next one. Source of contamination. An area where contamination is generated, productive from jams, leaking pipes, lubrication, dripping, etc. So we do see a lot of glue buildup. As we all know, we're going through some challenging times with the glue, but we're making progress. Because after the glue supplier ran out of the one ingredient and we changed to the new formula, we all seen how bad it got. It got really bad. Tacky glue heads building up every single day, glue tanks looking filthy, and a lot of that had to do with the formula, the amount of air that was impacting the glue, the amount of air it took to make it tacky. So they adjusted the formula. We've got a new, what some people call new glue. So far, it's a little better.
What machines are that?
And we're rolling out all of them now. It may take time for you to really start seeing the results, but we should start seeing the machines we trialed it on, we did see good things. So keep your fingers crossed. We'll hope that trend continues. All right, safety. This is the big one. If anything in your area is, if your disconnect breaks or you can't lock out a machine, that's the one I see most common. That's a safety abnormality. You write it up, you let me know, you let the maintenance know, you're down until that gets fixed. If you have a guard that's broken, you're down until that gets fixed. But make sure you write it up as an abnormality. That's the main thing. So safety is number one, always. And the last one, hard to reach. This is probably the least common. We do have one area, as you all know, when you're doing AMs, that's hard to reach, which is where? The back of the wrapper. The best thing we can do is every time you clean an AM is to acknowledge this. We still have a hard to reach area in the back of the wrapper. The more we acknowledge this, put it up as an abnormality, maybe we can start getting the right tools to clean that. I know we've got longer air ones now, got a few tools, but it still doesn't make it easy. I think everybody in here, every wrapping operator has done an AM and got cuts and scrapes and bruises from getting in the back of that wrapper. So we understand, I understand. I've done several AMs in my time here, so I want to make that easier for y'all. So always call that out whenever you're cleaning there. All right, so next we're going to go into logging abnormalities. This might be new for some of the new operators, so this will be important. A lot of y'all, I never see any abnormalities from. Some of y'all are very good at it. So I kind of expect y'all to write at least a few a week. If you run good all week, I don't expect to see any abnormalities. But if we're having problems on a wrapper all week and don't see abnormalities, you're not giving us any ammunition to fight for you with. So we need to know what problems you got going on. This will show, this is just a refresher of how to log one. So down here at the bottom, you got abnormalities found, you got abnormalities fixed, and you've got open abnormalities. 3 little tabs. To log an abnormality, first you need to click on the tab at the bottom of your HMI screen. Click on that. Once you get on this screen, this is the abnormality screen. Click this, the little bitty is way up here. Way up here. It's a plus new button. That's the part that's hard to see.
Right below that blue bar.
Right there. So that's when you want, that's how you want to add a new abnormality. This screen will also show which ones you have open or the ones that you wrote in a certain time frame. You can set the dates over here on the side and see what abnormalities you've got for that time frame. So I kind of challenge everybody at least to write 2 a week. That's that's a low number to hit. 2 a week, start there. And if you got machine issues, I expect to see more than that.
Josh, put your, plan fix for that, I just always select the next day, cause it won't let you log it until you select a date.
Okay.
So I just always just select the next day.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that-
fine.
Is that right? Is that good?
Yeah, that's good for now. This is after you click new. This is the new, or this is the abnormality screen. It does have instructions over here on the left side in case if you forget. So you're gonna, what we just went over, the abnormality type will be the first thing. You got all your options there: minor flaw, quality, safety, lack of base, condition, unnecessary parts, source of contamination, hard to reach. Then you got the description. So you just a brief description. You don't have to write a novel of what you got going on. Just a brief description. Glue leaking on rails, glue head stopped up, missing screw. It doesn't have to be more than a couple sentences. It just one sentence. You're gonna have your status over here on the left. Plan fix or fixed. If you found an anomaly while your mechanic's there and they fixed it while they're there, you can go ahead and put fixed. And hit that, like Chris said, if it'll only let you put the next day's date, that's fine. You're going to put your name in there, who it's found by, and who it's fixed by. So if a mechanic fixed it, you can put their name there. Make sure they know that. Another thing with communication, make sure they know to put their fix in your anomaly screen. Also, you got an area for additional notes. Once you do all that, you click save. You see where save's at down there? So that will log your anomalies. Any questions on putting in or logging anomalies, abnormalities? Okay, we're all on the same page. All right, next thing is coding downtime events. Most of y'all do pretty good. There's a few days where we just have a frustrating day and you forget to code your events. But this is important when it comes to like Heather's role as a CI, continuous improvement, seeing where the gaps are, seeing what all we got going on each machine. So we'll do it.
Like acknowledging your event.
Yeah, exactly. And Logan said, acknowledging your events. So to acknowledge and code your downtime, first you need to press the Acknowledge tab on the right side of your HMI screen. It will show you how many events you actually have that you haven't coded. So I can go in on the computer and look for each machine. If I see 2 or 3 events, I don't really bother with it. But if I see 27 events not coded, it's a red flag for me immediately. So a lot of times I'll come out to the machine and see if I can figure out what's going on, where I could code it for you. But realistically, it should never get that far behind. If you're having that much downtime, you should have maintenance look at it. You should have time to put these events in. So once you click the event tab, this is what brings up. You got the event screen. The little red bar on the left, that indicates it's the current stop, like the machine's in stop status at that point. The previous events got a little green bar to them. So that means you've stopped and started running since then. So you want to click on which one you want to acknowledge. And one thing I figured out that will help a lot of y'all is you can group codings for subsystems of the same equipment. So what that means is if you've got 10 different stops for MSS 5, and you know you've had a lot of kickouts or jams in the first drum, second drum, whatever. If you know you've got similar issues for that same, you can click all those at the same time. And you can code them all at the same time. Now, if you got different codes for different events, you don't want to do that, but that will help you. So once you click on the event, I'm going to go to types of downtime. So this is the next screen that pops up. So you have unplanned downtime. Any downtime that occurs during normal operations that is not a planned stop. What's some types of unplanned downtime? Breakdowns, no operator, no gum, out of adjustment, material quality issues, gum quality issues, While we're here, we'll talk about that. So if you are having problems, and we know there's an escalation on the gum, that's where your downtime needs to go, gum quality. We don't need to put clear jam, out of adjustment, gum quality. Same with materials. If we're having a problem with materials, we make sure we code it as materials. Don't just be putting clear jam. We see a lot of clear jams. You got a build-up tab. You got gum breaker build-up, put it under build-up. This is how we address certain issues. We see the numbers coming off of this screen, and we know where to target our resources. The second type of downtime is planned downtime. Any downtime that occurs during a normal production day is planned, has added value to our process. So what's an example of planned? CILs, changeovers, 8-hour AMs, all of that. The AM still goes against our time, but it's a planned downtime. So it has value added. That's the main purpose.
So changeover do check, right?
Yeah, changeover is under plan. It still goes against our TRS at the end of the day, but we know it falls under that planned bucket.
Somebody said meetings.
Meetings. So you got startup, shutdown, planned utility outages, planned maintenance, centerline inspection, which we may get to shortly within step 2 of MSD. We'll have time to do your center lines as well as your CILs. They'll be added in the morning. All right. And the last one, which is most likely y'all won't be coding this, that'll be me or Gary, is not scheduled. Any downtime that production scheduler is aware of and has adjusted production demands because of this. Like right now. This was planned. Gary got with David. We planned this in the schedule to shut down for 4 hours and do an engagement. So this will not count against our TRS. So you also have unscheduled, if we're only scheduled to run 7 machines on the line, on the E-line, for the 2 machines that aren't scheduled to run, if we don't have an operator, we put unscheduled. So if you got holidays, training, stuff like that. So that pretty much sums up what I had presented. Any questions about anything? All this kind of involves communication, getting the right information to the right people. Some may be through HMI, which who knows what HMI means.
So, like, what time does the event clear out? Like if the shift before us didn't clear them out?
They should. I know they're supposed to clear out at the shift change. Now, whether that may be 7:30 and 3:30, but they may have to adjust those times. That'll be something Heather has more to do with, but it should be about 7:30 in the morning. They should be cleared. If not, the previous shifts should be going in there. Their coordinator should be clearing them. Their leader should be clearing those events. If you see something where they're not clearing, let us know. HMI means human machine interface. So that's what your little screen stands for. If you hear HMI, that's what that means. Any questions on this whole process? Anything we covered today?
Yeah, on the time that you down, sometimes it don't add up.
It don't add up on the screen?
Yeah, the screen is wrong.
Okay. Anytime you see stuff like that, he asks, sometimes his time's not adding up what he's got versus what he's showing on the screen. So, FlowPack, y'all are the last ones to kind of have Traxxas go live over there, so there still may be a few little inconsistencies there. Just let me know stuff like that. I can let them know, and we could try to bridge that gap there.
I don't know if it's the same thing he was talking about, but my machine yesterday, I hit the reset button to clear my alarms, and it still had like a whole screen of alarms, but there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, another thing, like Traxxas ain't perfect. We know that. There's still bugs we got to figure out. There's still little things, but the main thing is, again, communicate to me, communicate to Gary. I'll let Heather know, Sandra, all the ones that are working through Traxxas to try to get it better. to make it cater to y'all's needs and our needs. Anything else? All right, that's all I got for y'all. Thank you.
Josh.
Yeah.
Good.
One more question?
Nice, good job, bro.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Now you're an expert.